You may have heard of the classic work The Alchemist, but few know that the author of this emotional book was awakened by another masterpiece called Siddhartha, by the renowned German writer Hermann Hesse. Hi everyone! I'm Sophia. Today, I'm going to reveal a really amazing book to you. Get ready because you might want to add this book to your bookshelf right away. In 1967, at the age of 20, when I was admitted to a mental hospital, I first encountered Siddhartha. Little did I know that outside the barred window of my room, this book was stirring the passion of an entire generation. These are the words he wrote about Siddhartha. He was enlightened after reading the book and was released from the mental hospital just a few days later. Carl Jung, considered the father of modern psychology, described Siddhartha as a beacon in the stormy night. But for Hesse, the author of Siddhartha, writing this novel was not just a way to save the world, but also a means to heal himself. In 1919, he wrote Siddhartha after enduring a period of great suffering during World War I. With his anti-war stance, he was ostracized by society and shunned by his colleagues. He then lost his father, his beloved young son passed away due to illness, and his wife, unable to bear the shock, was hospitalized. Faced with these hardships and a broken marriage, he fell into depression and even contemplated suicide. Fortunately, like the protagonist in his novel, Hesse found the light just in time. In countless sleepless nights, he gained profound insights into his soul and realized that only by exploring the deepest parts of oneself can one find the true meaning of life. Thus, Siddhartha, a work filled with confusion, searching, and enlightenment was born. At first glance, Siddhartha might seem like a story about the life of the Buddha, as the real name of the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, is Siddhartha. However, in reality, it is a profound philosophical work that uses a Buddhist setting to convey a story about a journey of self-discovery. The book takes us through Siddhartha's journey, from seeking, experiencing, to awakening and maturity, reflecting a part of each person's life. For those who truly understand this book, they will find answers to their lives. How to live a fulfilling and awakened life. Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha offers profound answers and meanings for life. Let's listen to the sharing about 3 things to see in life through this timeless work. Reflect on oneself, recognize limitations, and seek transformation. Some say that some people are born at the finish line of life, and Siddhartha was one of them. Born into a noble Brahmin family in ancient India, Siddhartha had everything: nobility, good looks, high education, and the admiration of thousands of women. However, he felt a deep sense of dissatisfaction as he had not yet attained Atman, the eternal self and soul according to Indian philosophy, the eternal core of a person. This made him restless and confused, longing for complete and transcendent existence. Siddhartha, a determined young man, gave up everything to follow the ascetic path with his friend Govinda. They joined the ranks of the Samanas, living the life of ascetic monks in hopes of finding enlightenment. Siddhartha learned to renounce all worldly desires, endure hunger, pain, and exhaustion. He disregarded the scorching heat and cold rain, even as thorns pierced his flesh. After 3 years of asceticism, Govinda felt satisfied with what he had learned. But Siddhartha realized that he was merely escaping reality, and ascetic practice was just a temporary delusion. In his despair, he met the Buddha Gautama, a man who had achieved enlightenment. While Govinda decided to follow the Buddha, Siddhartha chose to go his own way, believing that enlightenment could not be taught but must be experienced firsthand. Have you ever felt like a leaf drifting on the river of life, unsure of where you are going? We are like Russian nesting dolls, with one layer inside another. Will we ever find the final layer where our true essence lies? The search for oneself is like exploring new territory. With each step, we discover wonders and hidden corners of our soul. Just like a foggy mirror, if we don't regularly clean it, our souls are the same. Without regular introspection, we can easily lose our way. Is there anyone among us who dares to face their deepest fears? Who dares to admit their flaws? Life is a continuous journey of learning and exploration. And the most important thing is that we must always seek to understand ourselves better each day. Spend time each day listening to the voice within. Write in a journal, meditate, or simply sit alone and reflect. These are great ways to explore oneself. After parting ways with Govinda and the Buddha, Siddhartha embarked on a new journey, seeking deeper understanding of life. He was quickly drawn into the worldly life, learning about love from Kamala and about making money from the wealthy merchant Kamaswami. Initially, Siddhartha remained aware, viewing all these experiences as merely a game. But soon, the temptations of reality began to overwhelm him. Siddhartha lost control and sank into a life of pleasure. He became greedy, always craving more and never feeling satisfied. The excitement and novelty of life led him to seek worldly pleasures, including gambling. Siddhartha gradually lost his compassion and no longer helped the poor as he once did. It is often said that, like toothpaste, once desire is squeezed out, it is difficult to put it back in. Desire, when pushed to the extreme, has caused many people around the world to lose themselves, caught in endless greed and unable to find a way out. Initially, Siddhartha chose to avoid the temptations of desire, but ultimately, he became the person he had once despised in his youth. So one day, without a word of farewell, he went to the river, intending to end his life. But as he stepped into the water, a voice from deep within awakened him. Siddhartha realized that he needed to experience greed, pursue wealth, and even fall into the depths of despair to truly understand their nature and learn to overcome them. He understood that he needed to accept the world as it was and rejoice in his existence. As Rilke wrote, "Nothing in life passes without leaving a trace. Every step we take, no matter how small, has meaning." In this life, no effort is wasted. All past experiences are essential for our growth. Every dream, every awakening, every joy, every sorrow, every beginning and end is part of the process of self-cultivation. Life can sometimes be incomprehensible if you haven't experienced it yourself. Even if you hear a lot of wisdom without personal experience, it's hard to gain deep understanding. Wealth can be earned, knowledge can be learned, but experience must be gathered firsthand. As a writer once said, life is a training ground, and no matter how many methods you have, you still need to practice them in reality. Without challenges, there can be no growth and transformation. Step out and experience, cultivate your mind from those you meet, and refine your character from the situations you face. Thoreau said in Walden that living is not just about what you have, but about how you experience it. We are the sum of all our past experiences. Without experience, there can be no deep understanding. Life is a journey of experience, and the world is the greatest school. Siddhartha realized that he needed to accept life and let things happen naturally. After his awakening, he walked along the riverbank and met a ferryman, whom he decided to stay with to learn the art of rowing. The ferryman, like a sage, told Siddhartha that the river knows everything, and he could learn everything from it. Siddhartha often sat by the river, letting go of his restless thoughts and listening to the sound of the water. One day, a weary woman appeared by the river, disrupting the peace. It was Kamala, Siddhartha's former lover. After he left, Kamala became pregnant and gave birth to their child, abandoning her previous life and following the Buddha. This time, she was on a pilgrimage with their son and happened to meet Siddhartha. Tragically, Kamala was bitten by a snake and died before they could speak. Before passing away, she entrusted their son to Siddhartha. He looked at his former lover, who had lost her vitality, and realized the impermanence of life. The presence of his son awakened a new love in Siddhartha. He tried his best to care for the boy and win his affection. However, faced with an unfamiliar father and impoverished circumstances, Siddhartha's son resisted. He was indifferent, lazy, and even said he would rather be a murderer than live with this man called his father. When the boy wanted to leave, the ferryman advised Siddhartha that everyone must experience life on their own, and children have their own paths. But Siddhartha, worried for his son, was determined to keep him. Eventually, the boy sneaked away one morning. In despair, Siddhartha tried to catch up, but then remembered the time when he forced his own father to allow him to leave and follow his spiritual journey. The similarity between then and now made him realize that the cycle of suffering cannot be escaped. Distressed, Siddhartha returned to the river and listened to its flowing wisdom. Before, he always tried to distinguish the different sounds of the water, laughter, cries, shouts. But now, as he listened to everything without being obsessed with any particular sound, Siddhartha realized that all the joys, sorrows, laughter, and cries were united into one. Siddhartha decided not to resist fate, realizing that only by letting go of the ego can one truly attain freedom. He understood that his son's rebellion and choices were a natural part of life. Like the river that flows with countless voices, Siddhartha learned to accept and embrace all imperfections. True awakening occurs amidst the chaos of the world. He understood that things should follow their natural course without attempting to control them. Everyone has their own path, like flowers blown by the wind in different directions. Siddhartha realized that instead of resisting, he should live with awareness and acceptance, embracing whatever comes and goes. He learned to turn misfortune into happiness, and to let go of all attachments in his mind. Since its publication in 1922, Siddhartha has been translated into many languages and has become a spiritual touchstone for many. Siddhartha's journey reflects a part of each of us, from recognizing personal limitations and boldly embarking on a path of exploration in youth to seeking wealth and fame in middle age, and finally, achieving enlightenment. Siddhartha understood that inner peace is the key to enjoying every moment of life. Life is a continuous journey of self-discovery. When you open your eyes to all experiences, you begin to understand the true meaning of the world. And from that, awakening will come. We are the source and the destination of ourselves. By immersing ourselves in life, directly experiencing and loving it, we can lead a meaningful existence. The author understands that truth can exist in many forms, whether in love or hate, good or bad, life or death. All are part of a unified reality within each of us. Let go of obsessions and prejudices, the so-called desires and possessions. Step out, experience, explore, and love this complex yet compassionate world. The river in Siddhartha holds profound symbolic meaning, prompting many to wonder how it could lead Siddhartha to enlightenment. The river flows endlessly but remains ever-present, constantly changing over time. It symbolizes the harmony between two aspects of a person, the individual self and the eternal self. The water is constant because the eternal self always exists, yet it is ever-changing because the individual self is always evolving. As Heraclitus said, one exists only when one changes, and only by maintaining a state of change does one continue to exist. So what is change, and what is constant? The moment is eternal, while time is the intersection of change and constancy. When one no longer perceives the existence of time, the dual aspects of self merge, and the distinctions between the world disappear. Every moment and the entire world become a unified whole in Siddhartha's eyes. And to conclude today's video, I want to share with you a quote from the book. I no longer compare this world with the perfect world I want. I accept this world, love it, and belong to it. Thank you all for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with those who might need it. Don't forget to explore and reread this novel yourself, as each reading brings new insights. I wish us all enlightenment and fulfillment in life. Finally, support Inspire Reads by liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell to not miss any of our weekly videos. Thank you and see you in the next video.